Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Chakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, as well as double honor to their elders. Peace and blessings to 144,000. Pushing this word with all truth and sincerity, as well as peace and blessings to all the believers of Yahweh Shai. Just want to do a quick lesson going into how we have, eternity, immortality already waiting and prepared for us, man. And we just have to endure in this truth, endure to the end, Lord willing. We were called and chosen, from the beginning of the earth. So let's get right into it, Lord willing, edifying to the point. We'll start here, Second Ezra, the second chapter. In verse 10, it says, Second Ezra 2 and 10, Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai unto Esdras, Tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. And all that's simply saying here, because it speaks about the scattering a couple verses above, verse 7, it says, Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen, let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant. So through this scattering, we will become a no people. How, just a quick history into that. Deuteronomy 32 and 31, not 31, Deuteronomy 32 and verse 21, They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not the Most High, or not a power. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with the foolish nation. So because Israel has went off, and serving and worshiping other gods, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua said, because you provoke me to jealousy, I'm going to provoke you to jealousy with those that are not a people and a foolish nation. And who is this not a no people and foolish nation? It will be, the Israelite foreigners, scattered, amongst these different heathens, going by, living by their heathenistic customs and whatnot, and we're part of that scattering, those foreigners. But when Heavenly Father woke us up to this truth, coming back unto Him, we put off those ways, the heathen that we used to follow, and we're going back to the law, statutes, and commandments, the ways of life. So this is Hosea 1 and 9. Then said the Most High, call His name Lo Ami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power. And Lo Ami, or La'ai Amya, in the Hebrew, which means not my people. Verse 10, it says, Yet the number of the children of Israel. You see, so it's still talking about the Israelites here. Even though it says, it's going to be called not my people. Verse 10, Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people. And what place is that? America. We got these damn bywords and proverbs up on us, but let me finish it off. It says, And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power. This is the place where we're calling, we're coming back into the remembrance that we are the Hebrew Israelites. We are the sons of the Heavenly Father. We're the Israelites. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. So it's talking about the Israelites. Those Israelite foreigners and the Gentile state of mind. That was that no people. That the Heavenly Father is going to use to provoke, the Israelites unto jealousy. So going back to Second Ezra 2 and 10 again, Thus saith the Lord unto Ezra, Tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. So we now understand that, it's talking about the same people, just those are foreigners, who would eventually come back into the remembrance that they are Israelites, because the Israelites are the people of the Heavenly Father, and will always, the Heavenly Father is not taking anyone else in, no other nation, just to prove that right quick, Malachi 3 and 6. For I am Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, I change not. You see, the Heavenly Father is not going to change. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. We know that Jacob's name was changed to Israel. It said, Ye sons of Jacob, the Israelites. We're not going to be consumed. The Heavenly Father is never going to do away with us. He's always going to be our power. Second Ezra 2 and 10 one more time. Thus said the Lord unto Ezra, Tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. Their glory also will I take unto me, and give these the everlasting tabernacles which I have prepared for them, at those new bodies. And that's salvation. That comes the salvation. Comes with the new bodies being changed in the moment of the twinkle of an eye. Those everlasting tabernacles are already prepared. That new body. Sorry, it's already waiting on us. So verse 11 again. That glory also will I take unto me, and give these, the Israelite foreigners, those who are coming back into the remembrance that they're Israel. Lord willing, we be at that number, and give these the everlasting tabernacles which I have prepared for them. They shall have the tree of life for an ointment of sweet savor. They shall neither labor nor be weary. You see, we're gonna have the tree of life, which is the tree of life represents, the ways of righteousness, and what's that gonna lead to? Immortality. We're gonna be living forever. We're not gonna have to. We're not, as it says, they should neither labor nor be weary. Cause we're gonna have servants and handmaids. We're waiting on our every need, hand and foot. We're not gonna be weary no more. Getting tired, that's a thing of the past. We're gonna be able to run around the earth, 100 times without, without losing a breath. We're gonna be gods upon the earth once more. Abaratazai would be at that number. But going to speaking of the tree of life, this is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, the 19th chapter, in verse 18. It says, "The fear of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom obtaineth his love." So it all starts with the fear of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. That's the first step. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, as it says. Verse 19, it says, "The knowledge of the commandments of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality." You see. So the fruit from the tree of life will be produces immortality. Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai leads to everlasting life. And that's what we're gonna have in the kingdom, because we're gonna have the law, statutes, and commandments put in our inward parts. As it reads here, the new covenant, Hebrews 8:7. And before I get that, I'm thinking about Baruch 4. I want to read that right quick, and then we'll get speaking on the new covenant. How it says, Sirach 19 and 19 again, "The knowledge of the commandments of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai is the doctrine of life." You see, this is Baruch 4:1. Baruch 4:1, it says, "This is the book of the commandments of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, and the law that endured forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die." You see, and we're going to keep it perfectly in the kingdom, man, and that's going to lead it into everlasting life eternal, immortality. You see, so Hebrews 8 and verse 7, it says, "For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second." And what's the fault with the first covenant? Verse 8 is about to go into it. Verse 8, "For finding fault with them." So the fault was with us, us in this mortal flesh. We can't keep the law, statutes, commandments, the ways of righteousness perfectly. We'd have to be changed, in order to do that. Which that change is coming, Lord willing, we be that number to be a part of that great salvation. So for finding fault with them, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, being in this flesh, we couldn't keep the laws perfectly. He said, "Behold, the day is come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah." You see, this is who it's for. Who gonna have the laws in the inward parts? Who's gonna receive that salvation? The Israelites. Once again, they'll consist of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It says, "Not according," verse 9, Hebrews 8 and 9, "not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord." So it's not going to be in the fashion of the first covenant, This is the fashion that it's going to be on. Verse 10, "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind, and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people." So the Heavenly Father is going to program the law, statutes, commandments into our mind, It's going to be impossible for us to go off. We're going to be perfect forevermore. We're going to be gods upon the planet, or what immortality, Continuing on, it says, "And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest." Now, every Israelite that's born into the kingdom is going to know Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. They can be programmed with the laws, statutes, and commandments into their inward parts, from birth. So going back here to 2 Ezra 2 and verse 12 again, "They shall have the tree of life for an ointment of sweet savor. They shall neither labor nor be weary." It says, "Go, and ye shall receive." Go and ye shall receive. This is already promised unto the elect. Lord willing, we part of that number. It says, pray for a few days unto you, that they may be shortened. And that's what we're doing right now, constantly, man. Asking for the Heavenly Father to hasten, the day, that Yahweh Shai is going to come back and deliver his elect and destroy, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, to establish the kingdom, man. Hey, we're sighing and crying. We're vexed with this unrighteous rulership, and living in an abominable world. We're ready for righteousness to flourish throughout the planet Earth, so we can actually live life, because this, as the Apostle Gabar will say, we just existing here in America. So verse 13 again, 2 Ezra 2 and 13, go and ye shall receive, pray for a few days unto you, that they may be shortened. And we already know that the Heavenly Father said he was going to shorten the time, or no flesh will be saved. So that and you can feel it, the regular people of the world can feel it. They say, man, time going by fast. Like, 2025 is already fucking over with, We about to be in 2026. This year went by, in the blink of an eye. One more time, Lord willing, I ended out here on this verse. 2 Ezra 2 and 13, go and ye shall receive, pray for a few days unto you, that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. So the kingdom is already, prepared for us, man. We just waiting to receive, waiting for the fulfillment of it, waiting for prophecy to play out. We're waiting patiently, But as Yahweh Shai says, well, or pray as well as watch. We have to be mindful of the prophecies so we don't be caught off as a thief in the night, And we're seeing the way, where the world is, what it's headed to right now. Everybody's headed towards the MOTB, all roads lead to the mark of the beast. Everything's going digital. You got wars and rumors of war. So, we're at the end, Yahweh Shai is at the door. Our salvation is nearer than what we believe. So I'll read this verse one more time. That'll be it. Verse 13, one more time, 2 Ezra 2 and 13. Go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you, that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. So with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rachakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, rule well. Peace and blessings to 144,000. Push this world, all truth and sincerity. Shalom.